The warm weather is starting to return to Ontario. The CIS football season is complete and the CFL draft is just around the corner. And that means it is time for the Ontario Varsity Football League's prospect game, the 6th annual edition, to return to Ronjoy Stadium on the campus of McMaster University. The Adams Conference took the field looking for their second consecutive prospects game win after losing all of the matchups between 2009 and 2013. Meanwhile, the WECUS Conference, loaded with all kinds of talent, looked to reclaim the championship that they have owned since the prospects game began 6 years ago. All it took was a coin toss and we were off to the races in the 2015 OVFL prospects game. Donovan McLean of the Ottawa Myers Riders made his presence felt immediately with a backfield blitz, but was matched by fellow middle linebacker Kyle Lewis of the Hamilton Ironmen, as both offenses got off to a traditionally slow start. Going to the ground game, Etobicoke running back Justice Allen would try to speed around the edge, but was tracked down by a team of pursuing WECUS defenders. The Adams Conference would take to the air when Hamilton quarterback Alex DiPietro tossed one up to Gordon Lamb, who apparently indulged in some kind of popcorn during the pregame festivities, dropping the sure touchdown. But pass interference was the call, and the Adams Conference would get a second chance. Kingston defensive back Damon Fair chased down DiPietro, so the coaches thought, hey, why not give it to the running back? And Halton Cowboys' Josh Roberts would finish the job from there, 7-0 Adams Conference All-Stars. The WECUS Conference would respond, first Connor Smith over the middle to shifty slot back from the Toronto Thunder Rain Harris, then Ottawa Cumberland freight train Baxter Balthazar picked up his biggest gain of the afternoon. But as positive as Baxter Balthazar's first run was, it was wiped out by a blooper worthy of a 1980s VHS and VCR player. Those aren't hashtags, they're machines that... Never mind. Putting a bad down in distance, the Adams defense sent the house and it came crumbling down on WECUS quarterback Connor Smith. With the ball back in Adams all-star possession, Hamilton quarterback Ethan Belbeck would look downfield and find a wide-open receiver who made absolutely zero effort on the play. Seriously, how do you even get chosen for an all-star game with an attitude like that? WECUS possession when the ball skies to the heavens and somehow drops into the waiting arms of Pickering Dolphins' Keenan Clark. That's when Brampton defensive back extraordinaire Malix Cameron put his stamp on the game. First an explosive sack, then he chases Cumberland Panthers quarterback Pascal Roy Lepense all the way across the field, makes contact, and gets the ball back for his offense. That's when Belbeck would make pigs fly, sending a shot towards the end zone that was defended very well by York Simcoe Buccaneers Danny McWhirter, as he was able to get up and knock the pass away. After a personal foul put the Adams All-Stars on the goal line, Belbeck was chased down again by Nicola Funai, but would connect on the next play with a beautiful corner throw into the waiting arms of Gordon Lamb as he made up for his earlier errors. That touchdown meant it was time for the most boring play in sports, the extra point. Someone should really do something about that, move it backwards or something. The men in red would try to answer before the half, but Cameron again refused. 14-0 Adams at the half. The WECUS Conference would come out firing in the second half when Connor Smith dropped a dime into Toronto Thunder teammate Rain Harris's pocket, but the drive would be short-lived, so Javante Stanley of the Brampton Bulldogs would knife up the middle for the big Adams gain. On the next play, Funai would reintroduce himself to Belbeck, causing a fumble, which the WECUS Conference would recover. That's when Baxter Balthazar went to work as he came in like a wrecking ball. If a wrecking ball was nimble and fast. Given a rest, Balthazar would step out for Lansana, who busted through the line. Down 14, the Red Men needed a score, but Cambridge defensive back Sean Borkoff would not allow it as he made fantastic plays on the ball in back-to-back plays as he was being attacked by the WECUS offense. Needing a stop on third down, DiPietro was hog-tied by Cornwall Wildcats Drew Holmes faster than you can yell "Suey" on a flatbed truck and a pair of Wranglers. For entertainment's sake, the Adams coaches, up 14, elected to go for a long field goal with Hayden Riley. He would miss the kick wide left, and that's when Toronto Thunder wide receiver Shedler Furvius would get a fever for which the only prescription is more return yards. He took the missed field goal back 65 yards. Mitchell Rapper would take the swing pass wide right for the big WECUS gain, then Smith would look over the middle and nearly be intercepted by Jake Porter of the Niagara Spears. But no harm, no foul, and on the next play, Smith connected just barely over the outstretched arms of Khalil Wilson to find Keenan Clark for the WECUS Conference's first points of the day. That touchdown meant it was time for the most boring, routine play in What? That was awesome! Who would ever want to change that? From there, the Adams All-Stars would recover the onside kick attempt, and Javonte Stanley would put the finishing touches on an Adams Conference All-Star victory, as the Ticat Scouts had clearly had enough as they head for the exits. Make the final. Adams All-Stars 14, WECA's All-Stars 6. Your defensive MVP from the 2015 OVFL Prospects game is Nicola Funaya of the WECA's Conference. The offensive MVP from the Halton Cowboys was Joshua Roberts. And the game MVP, Javonte Stanley, running back of the Brampton Bulldogs, who finished with 8 carries for 70 yards. Players from both teams agreed it was an enjoyable experience to play in the 2015 OVFL Prospects game.
OVFL is the best players like this who play this game just shows what the OVFL creates in the atmosphere. It's awesome.
It's a great experience, actually. You know, get to meet new friends, and so just, football, keep those bonds, and hopefully come back in next year and build them again.
WECA's quarterback Connor Smith on the matchup against Team Quebec coming in St. Leonard this weekend.
I like to think personally that Ontario, home of the best talent in Canada. Obviously a lot of talent all over the field today, and I'm sure they have a lot of talent all over their roster in Quebec, so I'm excited. Hopefully we both make that team and we can go both to Montreal and go play next weekend.
For OVFL Live, I'm Marshall Ferguson.